Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Ja. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are starting with chapter 5 today, Karma Yoga. Text 1. Arjun said, O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Let's read the purport. In this fifth chapter of Bhagwat Geeta, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the second chapter, primarily, knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. In the third chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. And in the fourth chapter, the Lord told Arjun that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the fourth chapter, the Lord advised Arjun to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjun and confused his determination. Yes, right? Because he's saying that if you have the full knowledge, then there is no need to perform your duties because and if you are and when you are in working in devotional service, then that is the most beneficial for you. So now it is confusing us that whether we should work or not work. Arjun understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? Yes. When you do the work in devotional service means let's say आप झाड़ू मार रहे हो घर का तो आप झाड़ू इसलिए नहीं मार रहे हो क्योंकि तुम्हें घर क्लीन चाहिए या क्योंकि तुम्हें करना पड़ रहा है बिकॉज किसी ने तुम्हें कहा है करने के लिए. When you are doing this work in devotional service, you are thinking in your head that I am doing this jhadu because I I have been told by Krishna to do so. And this is his house, this is Krishna's house, and I have to keep it clean. Now you see how it just changes the way you work and it just changes the outcome because तुम just जितना चाहिए उतना ही झाड़ू मारोगे in first instance, but in second instance when it is something that you have giving to God as a service, then it becomes 100% fully with devotion. Then it becomes like a very high level service, right? Automatically it goes very high. So you see, there is no effort that you had to put when you were doing in as a devotional service to God. And you see how much effort you had to put if you were not doing as a devotional service. And when you keep doing the work in devotional service, it is going to bring more and more knowledge to you. All kinds of knowledge will start coming in. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? So work is not stopped. It's just that you're doing in devotional service. In other words, he thinks that sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activities because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. Yes, if I'm renouncing the world, then I will stop doing things which are worldly things, correct? He appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. जब तुम वर्क इन डिवोशनल सर्विस करते हो इन फुल नॉलेज करते हो तो तुम्हें लगता है कि तुमने कुछ भी नहीं किया ये तो नॉर्मल है बट व्हेन यू डोंट डू लाइक दैट यू फील दैट हाँ मैंने क्या क्या कर दिया वाओ you see the difference it is so amazing I mean the way it is explained I'm sorry, I just with this yes let's move to text 2. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and the work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. See the light. The lighting is okay. Let's read the purport. Fruitive activities seeking sense gratification are cause for material bondage. Fruitive activities done for sense gratification are prone to material bondage, correct? As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of body, thereby continuing the material bondage perpetually. This reminds me of one monologue which I had attended of Anupam Kher in NCPA. So he was narrating this incident where he had a shoot with Amitabh Bachchan, and it was like hot summer. And in those days, there were not vanity vans or anything. So they had to sit under the sun, under an umbrella, and there used to be like people around them, helping them, fanning them. So Anupam Kher saw. So Anupam Kher demanded for a room, AC room, and he will only come out once everyone is ready. And but Amitabh Bachchan was still sitting outside with everybody, waiting for his turn to come. So he came to know that Amitabh Bachchan has arrived and he's sitting outside. So he came out of the room and he went to him and he asked him, आपको गर्मी नहीं लग रही? आप बाहर बैठे हैं. You know what he said? He said, मैं सोचता ही नहीं. मुझे गर्मी लग रही है, ठंडी लग रही है, मैं सोचता ही नहीं. So that was a bulb moment for him because yes, if I don't think that I'm feeling hot, I am this, I am that, it will not matter to me, right? So he got that focus back that okay, I'm here to do work. I'm not here to comfort myself, right? And of course, when that happens, you automatically deliver a better output, you know. And see, you see, there is knowledge. You gain knowledge. Let's move ahead. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4 to 6 confirms this as follows. It's in quotes. It's a long passage. People are mad after sense gratification and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruitive activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruitive results, for sense gratification, and as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Yes, quotes close. Therefore, Jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body but spirit soul is not sufficient for liberation. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the is not, however, an action on the fruitive platform. Yes, so once you do an action in Krishna consciousness, the result of that action reaches Vaikunt, I would say, a spiritual world. It doesn't remain on the material realm. But when you do action without Krishna consciousness, the result remains in the material world. For example, if you're donating money for validation from other people and other society, other people in the society, then the benefit or the result of that action is going to remain in the material world only. So we understand, no, that bhav hona chahiye. That bhav is the most important part. What is bhav? Bhav means you truly feel like you can by your this act you can actually help the person grow. You are thinking of the other person and then you are giving them the materials, the goods that they will need to survive. And you are thinking that yes, by doing so, I will be able to resolve some of their day to day issues, some of their problems. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one need not descend to the material platform. Yes. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhagwat Rasram, Rasamrata Sindhu. In quotes, when person eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Yes. बोलते हैं ना नहीं मैं भगवान को भी नहीं देखूंगा मैं सिर्फ अकेले ही रहूंगा मैं सबको छोड़ के चला जाऊंगा और फिर मैं रिनाउंस कर दूंगा पूरे मैं जंगल में जाके रहूं तो इसमें तो कुछ रिनाउंसिएशन पूरा नहीं होता है इट्स नॉट अ कंप्लीट रिनाउंसिएशन कंप्लीट रिनाउंसिएशन हैपेंस फ्रॉम माइंड डजंट हैपन फ्रॉम वेयर यू लिव वेयर यू आर नो बॉडीली नहीं होता renunciation quotes clues. Renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property. वो बोलते हैं तुम सब छोड़ के जा रहे हो पर ये तुम्हारा तो था ही नहीं जो तुम क्या छोड़ोगे. This is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. So why you are claiming that I left my home, my house, now I'm living here? It was never yours. It was always God's only. God has blessed you with it. And you have to return it back to Him. So what are you taking with you? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property and is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. Yes. Let's move to text 3. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjun. Let's read the purport. One who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his action. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is quantitatively and qualitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. We are just a part, we are not whole. Krishna is whole. Yes. So we cannot compare ourselves equal to Krishna. Yes, we can say that we have attributes of His, but we are not Him. Right? Knowledge that one is one in quality, yet different in quantity, is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire to or lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated even in this material world. Yes. Let's move to text 4. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, that is Sankhya. So, an ignorant will say that the karma yoga is different from Sankhya. How it is different, I don't know. It's not possible. Anyway, let's read one more. Those who are actually learned. One second. Hello. Huh. Second. Some. Just give me a minute. Yes. Sorry about that. Let's read the purport. The aim of the analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of existence. The soul of the material world is Vishnu or the super soul. Devotional service to the Lord entails service to the super soul. One process is to find the root of the tree and the other is to water the root. Yes, so these are two processes. The real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material world, that is Vishnu, and then in perfect knowledge. And then in perfect knowledge engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in essence, there is no difference between the two because the aim of both is Vishnu. Yes. First you find the truth and then you start servicing the Lord, or you start servicing the Lord from the start. Those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purposes of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same. But one who is learned knows the unifying aim in these different processes. Yes, we will understand more now about Sankhya philosophy. Let's move to text 5. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Let's read the purport. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life, right? Since the ultimate goal of life is self realization, there is no difference between the conclusions reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophy research, one comes to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the supreme spirit whole. Consecutively, the spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in some relation with Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in the constitutional position. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same, although superficially one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can see this sees things as they are. So as soon as you start detaching from the matter, detaching, not neglecting, detaching from the matter, you will start growing closer to God, you know. So you start getting attached to God. So in the end, you are reaching God only, right? The point is that you start looking at things the way in their reality, not in your head, what reality you have created in your head. No, this is how things are. You start accepting things the way they are. Once you start doing that, you will start detaching yourself from the matter. And when that happens, you will find yourself getting attached more and more to the universal energy, which is God. Yes. Let's move to text 6. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. Yes. Let's read the purport. There are two classes of sannyasis, or persons in the renounced order of life. The Mayavadi sannyasis are engaged in the study of Sankhya philosophy, whereas the Vaishnav sannyasis are engaged in the study of Bhagavatam philosophy, which affords the proper commentary on the Vedant Sutras. The Mayavadi sannyasis also study the Vedant Sutras but use their own commentary called Shariraka Bhasya, written by Sankaracharya. The students of the Bhagwata school are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord according to Panchara, Triki regulations. And therefore, the Vaishnav sannyasis have multiple engagements in the transcendental service of the Lord. The Vaishnav sannyasis have nothing to do with the material activities and yet they perform various activities in their devotional service to the Lord. But the Mayavadi sannyasis engage in the studies of Sankhya and Vedanta and speculation, cannot relish the transcendental service to the Lord. Because their studies become very tedious, they sometimes become tired of Brahman speculation and thus they take shelter of the Bhagavatam without proper understanding. Consecutively, their study of the Srimad Bhagavatam becomes troublesome. Dry speculations and impersonal interpretations by artificial means are all useless for the Mayavadi sannyasis. The Vaishnav sannyasis who are engaged in devotional service are happy in the discharge of their devotion in this discharge of their transcendental duties, and they have the guarantee of ultimate entrance into the kingdom of God. Yes, because they are in devotion and they are doing with bhav, they are doing with lagav. Yes, I'm doing this because I love you. You know, when my child asks me, Mama, why are you doing this? I tell her, I'm doing this because I love you. So when you love your child, you automatically don't see any, you will see all the walls getting melted, you will see all the guards gone, and you are just there for your child. Whatever it says you want to give, you want to do, right? That is called love, that is called surrender, that is called bhav. So love is not expecting, love is not wanting. It is more about accepting whatever is there and be in service to the person you love, right? The Mayavadi sannyasis sometimes fall down from the path of self realization and again enter into material activities of philanthropic and altruistic nature, which are nothing but material engagements. Yes. Therefore, philanthropic matlab abhi and altruistic means people who want lot of public attention. They will do some great things for, like for example, in Jains also, they do a lot of, they get lot of validation if someone builds a mandir or if someone is trying to build a derasar or this kind of thing. So they do a lot of donations and everything in that. But most of them do the donations with the fact that they will get recognized in the society as the topmost. And they also do these things to lure them, because otherwise they will not get money, because the people are like that, right? Why would a temple have names of all the people who have contributed in building the temple? Why? So these are the kind of things, these are called philanthropic things which people do to get validation from outside, and they feel that they are doing this in devotion. So basically, Mayavadi school are not understanding what is devotion. Therefore, the conclusion is that those who are engaged in Krishna conscious activities are better situated than the sannyasis engaged in simple speculation about what is Brahman and what is not Brahman, although they too come to Krishna consciousness after many births. बहुत जन्म लेने पड़ेंगे, मतलब वो जन्मों में भी वो फिर अगर उसी में रहे तो नहीं, but they will have to take more and more births to gain more knowledge, more time, you know. Let's move to text 7. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Yes. Let's read the purport. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches. Or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. Yes. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance. And sometimes when you are when you are so surrendered to Krishna, Krishna also makes it a point that you don't derail. You know, it is such a small example that one day I thought that I want to wake up every day at 4:30. Please, God help me. This will help me to improve, give some time to myself. There will be some me time. And believe you not, without setting an alarm, I wake up at 4:30. Suddenly my eyes are open and I'm thinking, why am I awake? And okay, now I'm awake, so let me get started. And then I am pushed into various thoughts to do this, to do that, and everything is done. And suddenly you reach a stage where you find your purpose. So yes, you also get lot of universal support, divine guidance, divine protection when you are in surrender. But until you are not in surrender, you're not in love, it's very difficult. And because everyone is satisfied, okay, because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics related to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then was Arjun offensive in battle to others? Wasn't he in Krishna consciousness? Yeah. Arjun was only superficially offensive because, as has already been explained in chapter 2nd, all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually as the soul cannot be slain. So, spiritually, no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore, Arjun, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reactions of the work. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.